Right. What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey, and I'm Shakira. All right. Another week has gone by. Another opportunity to learn and grow as a trader. So I'm very excited. I'm, I don't know, you get this feeling like you're on the cusp, you know? And I've been watching a lot of these psychology videos about the different stages of trading and the stage that I'm at. Like, it's, I think, the most frustrating stage because you're finally learning discipline and you finally figured out what your edge is. And now you're just trying to work through your ability to not hesitate and make it mechanical and take the trade when you see your setup and only when you see your setup and not force things. So, as usual, we'll go through the week's trades. And actually, as we go through the week, I'm just going to use TradingView today for the most part because I want to solidify my entry model and setup in my head because I missed out on a juicy trade and instead took a loss because I was being preemptive and I don't know, I've been waiting all day and I just kind of forced it, but it is what it is. Anyway, instead of looking at my giant head, actually my head's looking pretty good actually. Yeah. Yes, queen. Yeah. Anyway, let's get Teddy. All right, so November's just gotten started and we've taken one trade. We've made an adjustment to our stop loss, my stop loss, because I had to have a long, serious talk with myself about how often I'm trading versus, what I was doing before. So what I was doing before was, taking two trades a day, no matter what, almost. And then my stop was always like 74 ticks, right? So right now, my stop is set up, I've doubled it because I'm trading less and less. What up, Bob? Happy Sunday. Having a good day, good morning so far? You got your coffee? Yeah, huh? I have my sugar. Because it is sugar, best believe. Anyway, so I've made adjustments to my stop because it makes sense. I don't trade very much. So before I was risking a 0.5% no matter what on the trades, but that was when I was trying to take two trades a day. So if I'm only looking for one trade on any given day, I can double my stop for what I'd be willing to lose for, two trades. And then that would help me, weather the storm of NQ being a diva and then dropping. So we're going to use TradingView today to backtest and solidify in my mind what my entry criterias are for my setup. So and we'll review the one trade I did take, and I did mess with myself. I did mess myself up, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. So no trades on Friday. I was looking for, after they ran up during the day, after they dropped in the morning, I was looking for them to run back up, take out these equal highs right here, and then give me a shift. So they started it here, but as always, what I'm looking for is, so we had this run up, I was waiting for that shift down. They rolled back up. I was waiting for them to break this low again, and then give me a decisive area for a short down to here. They didn't do that, and therefore I didn't take a trade. Now, Wolfie always says, power hour, they're going to run up, they're going to run up. And, they did. Whenever he says it's around the 2 o'clock time frame, and they did run up. But they kept going for the rest of the day. But it's Friday, so not likely to get exactly what I want. So no trades Friday, but was there something I could have taken that would have helped? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like if I was, this is after 3:30. I waited 2 hours for this, by the way. And I guess as a trader, we just gotta get used to being patient. Like I'm at that stage where the patience and the discipline is there, but I still make mistakes, and I think everybody's still gonna make mistakes regardless of how well they're doing trading. And sometimes it just gets to you, all the waiting. And maybe, lunchtime's no joke. Lunchtime, I'm always like eating or something, like I think I was having lunch when this happened. So let's see, could this have been like a potential setup? Because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spend this whole time trying to figure out proper, appropriate entries for my normal setup. So we have this, we did sweep it, but technically, I'm not really looking at this as like a potential like area for a sweep. I'm really looking at this, drop down, sweep that, return back down, shift up above here, and then an entry with where they shifted. So technically, it did show up. It's not pretty, but it did show up. So for me, my preference for an entry would have been here. Look at that. To take out the equal highs right here. Look, that's insane. But that's the setup. Isn't that ridiculous? Like, I wouldn't. Well, when was this? I wasn't even looking at the charts yet. I came back like at 145 or something. Actually, yeah. And I didn't even consider that my setup was here, but it is. It's like always there, but sometimes it's hard to see. So I've taken to, drawing this on the areas, because this doesn't count, right here doesn't count. This is where it actually like took this high out. Interesting. That's where it actually took the high out. And then if we zoom in, it set up a set of order blocks right here and a fair value gap. Lovely. It kind of did a cute little thing right here, but never came back to the order block, and it barely tapped like my favorite sort of volume imbalance right here. But look at that. Like, I need to be a little bit more open to the less perfect versions of my setup, because they do show and they do pay. Because after that ran away, it didn't run to take anything out. If it comes back to the entry area, which it did, and it tapped it, and even my smaller stop would have been perfectly fine. And once they ran up here, let's see, these candles are big, right? Tap. Look at that. Oh, hell yeah. What? I don't even need that whole run. I probably would have just took it here and been okay. Just take that high out, you know? Small, low-hanging fruit. But look at that response. Run up. My stop would have already been moved to break even. Bam. And we just wait to see if we take the high out. Done. That's beautiful. Wow. But I was not here. I did come back around 145. So if I had actually paid attention to this, I might have been able to take that. Been in the perfect time, because these things tend to form around, if it's gonna run, it tends to form around after a 30-minute, 40-minute time frame on the hours. So that's a nice. Oh. Okay, cats have arrived, y'all. Whenever their chaos ensues, a kitty has arrived. Usually that kitty is Maddie. So I had a phone on this side. I hope you didn't hear that clatter. Um, Charging, and it is now on the floor because this cutie decided that she wants to sit over here. Let me see. Can you see her? I don't know. Can you see a kitty? Say hello to Maddie. Maddie the baddie. This is the baddie right here. She's adorable and sweet and super loving, but she doesn't listen for nothing. Anyway, so we're just analyzing. We're literally just analyzing and looking for my setups now. So this is Friday, right after lunchtime. They've run through, took a bunch of liquidity. This is a leg. Sweep the leg. Come back down. Where did they come to? They came back down into a fair value gap. Beautiful. And then they launched they launched themselves right back up. Isn't that crazy? Yes, she is always chilling. You're like little Simba. Come here, baby. Say hello. Hello, hello. Look at that belly. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You gonna sit down? Okay, good. She sat down for a second, y'all. This kitty will always be chilling. Let's be honest. She's a chilling kitty. Anyway, so I need to be more discerning when I'm like waiting for my setup. You know, I can only take it. What's up? Okay, we're gonna. All right, all right, all right. It's sleepy time. So she likes to lay on my lap and just like get her little nap time and get the love loves. So she's getting her love loves right now, and then she's gonna use her little paws. This is what I deal with on a regular basis. I am the luckiest cat mommy, I swear. Look at her. I don't know why she wants to push at me though when she's doing it. Anyway, this would have been a nice setup. Juicy equal highs up here. Once they broke this consolidation, and actually, just for funsies, let's see. Do you mind? Okay. From here to here, this low. Oh yeah, I would have put my stop right under this wick while they were doing this foolishness, and then just waited. Equal highs up here with the way they've been running. The Nasdaq's been running. You can eke out so much more out of these setups. And that's where my trading journey is headed, where I can take one trade, right, and one mini and make, what is that? The $3,000, $3,700 trade just on one setup, just waiting. Risk 370 for that. I think that's a good, you know, that's a good trade-off. Or take, what is this, 168, 800? Either way, 800, roll up. Once they leave this space with this candle, move my stop right here with this candle. Cool. Start like just holding on to lows and then wait for them to take it out. Win-win, regardless. All right, moving on. So I didn't really see anything in the morning besides this fair value gap they were hugging in the morning. And I actually was considering a short at this point because I just wanted, if I'm being honest, I just wanted them to sweep this high just a little bit. And they didn't, because if they swept that high, then I could have waited for, I don't know, them to take this out or maybe even this low. But it just doesn't fit in my setup, so just ignoring that. All right, let's move on. There was a setup in the AM though, if I'd gotten out of bed. So they generated this liquidity. They ran up to it. They actually took this out. So we have another setup here. So they made this, swept it, returned up, shifted, and then I wanted an entry at the order block right here, and then for a drop like that. So it would have been, and I'm just going through price looking for what I'm looking for. So my entry would have been here, my 74 tick stop. Just look for that low to be taken, or whichever the closest low is, if I'm being honest. Like this one would have been fine too. I don't know. Would I have gotten tagged in on any of those setups? Let's see. And if we remove this puppy just so we can see a little bit clearly, they dropped. The only fair value gap they left was not even a fair value gap, but a volume imbalance. So would have gotten tagged in here. I don't even know what this movement's like right here. That would have been like, yeah, I would have put my probably put my TP at my stop at 210 right around here and just waited to see if they would take the low out, which they did, but that was at like 9:30. But there's another example of my setup right there. So that's in the pre-market right there. Sometimes it's blaringly obvious and like super simple, but yeah. So let's continue on. All right, so here's the Thursday trade I messed up. Sigh. So I was waiting for this. I was literally waiting. I waited. They took it down here. Actually, I messed this up because I did this instead of, so this was the full um range. It took the range here, rolled back up, and then once they dropped below the range with a nice looking fair value gap right here, very, very obvious, then this is the order block, right? So either, if I would have set my entry here, or if I was feeling a little saucy, maybe at the bottom of that wick right there. But with the higher stop, I felt a little bit more comfortable taking that there. And then there was this little area here I was interested in for a TP, which they ran into nicely, and that was the end of that. But I don't know, I was weirdly of two minds, and I don't know why, because I usually don't do this. But I was thinking this sweep that this was a retracement, then a shift here. So then this is where I got faked out. So I took it here, and of course got stopped out pretty quickly after that, because this is not the setup. The setup is, and that's a lesson for next time, because that's losing out on a ton. The setup is this. Lots of liquidity taken here. This is the range. You got to shift through the range, retrace back up into the range, and then you got to shift past the range one more time, and then a retrace back up into the order block for the range, like so, and then a drop for your TP. And it's been paying pretty nicely. So let's just go through and find the pattern and like get our mind right around said pattern. So I'm thinking to myself, did we see it in this general vicinity? I mean, this is at lunchtime, so I'm not, or after 11, I'm not usually looking for anything around there. Now, what was I thinking here? Continuation trade would have been nice, but it's not my setup, so we can ignore that. Let's continue up. So this is Thursday pre-market. Was there anything juicy? Because I wake up somewhere between 5 and 5:30. So if I was going to sit around waiting for something, so let's see. We had this run up, mini shift, shift up, shift, obvious entry area right here. And where would we be going? 7-4 tick. So plenty of space on that one. Where would we be going? So that's 210. It's a little high here. It was looking a little thin, if I'm being honest. So I might have just taken what I could get, given the nature of the day. Look at this. This is annoying. That would have taken, that's 519. Well, entry 547 would have been the entry. Then I would have to sit through all of this foolishness. And then that would have taken me to 819. Nah, too choppy. Don't like that. This would have been London. They made triple, like equal lows down here. Not great. So I'm never trading pre-market, but right now this is just about figuring out my setup. So this is not ideal. Don't see it in that price action. And this is the PM after 3. I see it in this price action mill. So I've been running up a whole bunch. So this is another one I was looking at. I was like, awesome. So this is the actual range. Beautiful. We failed to take it out. We dropped below it here, returned back up, and then we dropped below that, left a lovely fair value gap for an entry right here, and then beautiful, beautiful. And they ran down to take the lunchtime lows is what I was thinking, because there's plenty more below it. So taking that is nothing. And this was the day when literally I was like here watching it starting to form. And I was like, oh man, someone came to the door and I was really mad about it. So by the time I came back, we're already down here. I was like, gosh, darn it. So let's see what that trade would have been like if we'd been able to sit in this. So there was like 2 days of like perfect setups for me. Look at that. That was a $2,300 trade that I, got that I was not able to take advantage of. But on the upside, finally seeing my setup show up a lot more, which is quite lovely, I think. All right. So this is, let's see. So we had some sweep here, 930. We shifted above here, returned down, shifted above. And then, so technically, this is really ugly though, like really ugly. So shifted above all the way this way. Then we retraced back and then we didn't do shift above this. So that means an entry would have had to be in here somewhere for a continuation up like that for my setup. It's not pretty, but it is there. And I need to be able to recognize it. So let's see, would my new stop have been giving me some solace for this setup? So that's 210. Just, let's see. Let's zoom in on that. So the order block that got set up is here. So I would have been tempted to set it up, put this here and make sure, or adjust down enough so I'm just inside of this volume imbalance, which honestly I don't know if I noticed on the day. And then what could we have run to? What's at the left? Like equal highs up there. That's not bad, right? And then just manage to stop and see. So aim for the world, and then manage the stops because we wouldn't have gotten tagged in until around here. And that was already like 300. My stop would have been here, locked in. I don't care. Win or lose, I still make money on that. And then as it starts moving up, just do that. Once it gets really close to my TP, no joke, I would probably be under here. I don't care. What did they say? Don't be a dick for a tick. So, yeah, I wouldn't be a dick for a tick because that would be pretty boss. I mean, come on, that's like already a $2,000 trade. Like, why would I need to? I don't need to be greedy. I just need to make my money. So if I made it into that one mini, 27 versus what? 22? I'm digging it. That's great. So definitely need to pay closer attention because this could have been, when did I get, 11:20. That would have hurt my heart though. I would have missed this anyway because it's after 11. And a lot of times these just don't give you the same setups. At least not during the times when I'm staring at the charts. But I'm trying to like lock in to the weird ways this thing can show up for me. So, all right, let's continue on. So this is pre-market now. So trying to figure out if I need to do anything pre-market. Okay, so we have a lot of equal lows taken here. So this is the range. I need to see this thing broken. So we didn't see it get broken until here. Then we would have seen like a pullback and then a shift up, then a return to the order block and then a run up. It did occur. It's not pretty. So the entry would have been here. And let's see, that would have been, they left a little guy. I would have put it there because I want my stop below here. And then just aim for that little high right there. Or this one. Pre-market. Beautiful. Play some 5M, just bought a crotch rocket, need to get it upgraded. Chip tune. Of course you did, bruh. Nice. Nice. Man, go play your game. It's all good. I'm just out here trying to remind myself that my setup actually shows up more than I think it does. I mean, I think next week I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and wait for some pre-market action. I'm gonna do it the whole week and see if I get something. Because the concept of being done trading before the 9:30 open does make me feel very comfortable. And the fact that I'm seeing my setup, like I need to do this more often. I need to draw it, prep for it, and then take it. That's it. Because I think my 37 tick stop would have been right about here, but the 74. So if I have the 74 here and the low is here, and I just, I reduce my stop to match it a little less, be comfortable adjusting. You got this low here I would have put my stop at because I'm not giving back too much. It's pre-market. Would have been stopped out if I put it there. But I think what I should do when I do these setups is like put my stop. Like once my entry's here and it's run up, I need this to break above here, maybe like lock in a little bit more. Whereas like just to cover fees to see if it'll run. Because that's 264 for that. That's 326 if I wanted to wait for that. And they would have gotten it just before 8:30, so that's not too bad. Strictly trading the 5-minute orb with it, going to compare it with my current strategy on it. Nice. Yes. Yes, that's a good strategy. Do not use your funded for anything but your levels that make you money. And then if you're testing anything else out, do it on a combine or paper trading because that is okay. You don't need to make money when you're testing things because you'll lose money because you're testing it. I'm drinking sugar in a cup. Don't tell nobody. But yeah, that would have worked out pre-market. I would have got an entry at about 7:13, so I'd have just sit and wait. I don't think Thinkorswim lets me draw the lines, so TradingView it is for that. All right, let's continue on. I would not be awake for London, and this looks like utter trash. I like liquid sugar. Don't tell nobody. As I'm sitting here drinking liquid sugar out on the interwebs. Telling everybody. This is just water, though. Yo, these cats are like ninjas. Where did she go? Like, I just was looking over, like, oh, there should be a cat right here. Oh, your first cup of coffee? Nice. Okay, so do you have that like first coffee feel? You know how like the Starbucks folks are like, when you get your Starbucks, you have that first sip, feel? Do you get that with your coffee when you have it in the mornings? Because that'd be cool if you did. Hmm. So let's see. So we had ranges here. This made its own little range. Shifted above it nicely here, returned, shift, but didn't give anything clear. So that's a big fat no on that one. Like the entry area should be clear as mud. Like if it's not clear as mud, don't do it. Another thing I need to work out is the continuation setup as well, right? The continuation setup. So what does that look like? Maybe something like this. So we created some liquidity here. and we're assuming there's more down below. So we created liquidity, we ran up, took said liquidity. So now we have this area, wait for it to shift below that, retrace back up, shift lower, take an entry. That's a lot of area run. I like that. There's nothing better than taking that first sip of coffee. What up, life? Oh, thanks. I am in need of some realigning of my brain hole. Yeah, that first sip is the bomb, man. Nothing like it. I'm trying one of the secret menu things on in Starbucks. So this one's got I don't know if you can see that on there. It's got all that. So it seemed like a ton of sugar, but my normal drink, the caramel frap with extra caramel and all that, that is way more sugar than this. So yeah, I can't have another one of these for like a week. Because no joke, diabetes and I are not gonna be friends. What you up to, life? You having a good weekend so far? Mm, 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 mm. Well, this took that. No, yeah, that's not good. Doesn't give you the correct response. What time is this? This Tuesday. So this one though, let's see. So this is at 10:09. We did run up here. We shifted past it here, roll back up, shifted, but didn't really give me any kind of clear entry area. Like it was just very choppy. Or did it? Let's see. Let's zoom in on this. So where is the order block? It's actually all the way up here. It did leave you know what? I'm sometimes I think I'm blind to price action. Only sometimes though, right? So if I had been paying closer attention, look at that. Set up, y'all. Set up. Beautiful. So we had the shift up, lots of liquidity swept, shift down here, never bothered to come up here, retraced back up, shifted below here, and then we're looking for an entry. This is the order block. So let's see, and we got a fair value gap. So an entry by the fair value gap if we can get it. So let's see, what would that have netted us? Let's say we'd taken it here at the base of the order block, the stops above that. That's good. And we're looking for this low right here. No, oh my God, look at that. Beautiful. Choppy, but beautiful. So I would have probably would have gotten tagged in here. How much would we have dropped? Almost to about $1,000, run right back up into it. I would have been stopped out early because once I got tagged and dropped, I would have moved my stop to break even. So I would have been tagged out here. So it wouldn't have netted me anything on that one. I got Good Friday. Yesterday got a little bit of crypto L. Other than that, nice weekend and relaxed mostly. Man, don't trade on the weekends. Store up your trading capital for the high probability trades during the week. I remember I used to like about three plus years ago when I was looking at crypto for trading, I would be like sitting staring at BTC and ETH, looking for a setup or a trade or something on the weekend, and it was just so very weak. Like the volatility was a lot lower. I know crypto trades 24/7, but you need to take time off, bro. You know what I'm saying? You need to take time off for yourself. But for this setup here, if I didn't bother to move my stop, then, just either get stopped out or I get all my money. Let's see what would this have netted me. Because I'm starting to realize I'm being super strict and I need to just let my edge play out. That was a $2,500 trade right there. Nice. All right, all right. Not pretty, not sexy. The entry would have been here, and I would have had to sit through a lot of BS. I mean, once, like I said, I probably would have been stopped out here. All right, a little position's okay, I suppose, but it's not. It's not okay. Ignore me. What's this? Oh, I remember waiting for something. This didn't seem so bad, right? Like, literally, they swept this. I was waiting for them to do this, sweep that, came back in here. This. I was hoping for a return back here for, something for a nice long, but they did it here for a second, but, that was a fake out. Because then I would have been like, heck yeah, take this, ride that up, but never got that back. So I have a hard time taking it here. I did it, what, once, like the week before last. And I was like, that's not a great play, right? Like it has to flow, in the same direction. And this is just, I'm running away and I don't want to give you an entry. That's all right. All right, let's continue enjoying. Let's check pre-market for this puppy, right? So, all right, we swept a bunch of stuff here. Right now, we're not even caring about, direction or any of that crap. I'm just curious to see where my setup lies. All right, so from here to here, approximately shift. This is a no play right here. There's just too much, like, there's too much movements for me to have gotten anything good. Look at that. Like I'd have to wait for 100 points or so for them to like, or 88 points for them to actually move. That's not worth anything. Okay, that was Tuesday midnight. Let's go back to Monday. So let's see, what do we get on the PM? So I usually come back about 1:45-ish. We had lows here. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten diddly squat in this scenario. I wonder if there was like a short play in this. Let's see. Ran up, shifted, reached up, dropped, continuation down to take like the lows out. So it was a short in that. This one left a fair value gap juicy from the first one, and this one left a tiny, tiny break right here. So let's see. That wouldn't have been bad. And that's like 210. So I would have just looked for something in here. Keep it simple. I might have even been looking for this, honestly. But then my stop would be like trailed. And then once we busted past 210, then I might have put my stop wherever the 210 is. So I can lock that in. So 210. Oh, we were like right on top of it. Yeah. And how much is this thing? About 80. So 105, I might have locked that in just to keep half of my normal TP. So I might have put my stop right around here and then been stopped out when it ran up. Because this is so close. Why not, right? It's not high probability. Because so that's the first shift. This is the second, a retracement back up. It's not super clean, but it is the order box here though, so would have had to put it there. I don't think I would have been tagged in there, but this guy, this little break right here, I might have put it at the top there since my stop was so much, and then just move that down to reduce the stop, and that would have been tapped in just a smidge right there. And then just moving my stop down. If it's days where it's like extra, what's the word I'm looking for? Choppy, then I might just wait for just my base hit, which is the 210. All right, let's see. So this is the 2 o'clock. What did the AM give us? So not great. So if we were to run the clock here, we didn't take this out until here. Retrace. We did shift it here and then come back into the order block and then run up to here. I don't know if that, I don't know how much that would have netted. Let's see. A pretty decent amount. So let's take a quick look. And this is all noise. It's all noise. Because then until they take out the high that took out, sorry, until they take out the high here that took out this high, my setup does not care. And then entry at the order block. I'm being super mechanical right now, like super mechanical. Let's zoom in on that puppy. Order block here. So given the size of my stop, I might have done that at the top of the fair value gap. So the wick of this one, so that I would have gotten in. My base 210 would have been here. Once we busted above it, probably here, I would have set my stop here and stopped out. Yep, that would be fine. Or just aim for this little high right here, a little extra. Get it right there. Set your stop under here, and then be tapped out. No muss, no fuss. But wow, it's if I be very, very strict with it, very strict, the setup does show itself a lot more often than I give it credit for. Wow. I really do need to be a little bit more clear with myself because this is all marking time. And if I'm being honest, like sometimes when they do this and then they sweep, like this could have been a nice little entry area here too, but it doesn't really fit into my criteria because we're in the chop. But if as I'm going through just looking for my setups during the times that I mean, this would have shown up at lunchtime, this entry, which would have shown up at lunchtime. So probably wouldn't have caught it, but it does show up a lot more than I'm giving it credit for. Let's continue on. Pre-market. So I get up at 5:30-ish, so I wouldn't be on the charts until after 5:30. So what do we have here? We have a sweep down, we have a shift up here. So little mini shift, and then ugly, another retracement down, then a shift up. So then entry would be in this general vicinity of this order block right here. And it left fair value gaps right here. So then entry would have been in around here to look for the highs, something like that. Hey, hey, Ebenar, how's it going, man? Happy Sunday. You had a good week of trading? So let's see, what would that look like? Pretty big stop for me, so I can just adjust it like so. That's my 37 ticks. And I wouldn't have got my base hit. Moving the stop to hold on, I would have been stopped out here. No muss, no fuss. Kind of a weak morning. But if I did move my stop, I would have gotten it right around here, 9 o'clock. That's the thing I wonder about moving stops, you know? But I mean, we came so close to my TP. I can't imagine letting them come back and, almost to my entry and then run off again. Like, that seems a little crazy. So I'd rather take, what's that? That's half. I'd take half and then come back for another day for another trade. That's okay. So if I'd done this, that would have been a 1 to 2.8 return. Although technically my stop would have been here, but I would have moved it to under here. So yeah, that's still good for that stop. Started the holiday cleaning, trying to get things done. Nice. No joke. It just smelled. Okay, y'all need to know that. I just got a whiff of poop. I'm like, the cats don't poop anywhere but in their boxes, but every once in a while I get like the slightest whiff. You know what I think it is? So my original cat, like Jojo, you know, I had his box in the corner over here. He was really old, like 18, 19 years old. And I think I'm still getting like phantom whiffs of his poop. And he passed last year, but I think I'm getting phantom whiffs of his poop. And as somebody who hates poop, it's not cool. Anyway, so for folks who are just joining me, I am literally going through and like identifying my setup and plotting out the entries. Like, it's insane because I think I've been way too particular about the setups. So I'm literally going back. It is not fresh poop. I promise you, there's no poop in this room. Because here's a weird thing, right? Like, I get a whiff of it and then I search and I move furniture and everything. There's no poop in this room. They poop 3 levels down in their box. I should know. I clean that box out every day and there's lots of poop in it. Why are we talking about poop? I hate poop. God damn it. And shush you, life. Me talking about is fresh poop. It's not fresh poop. All right, so here's a scenario where my setup would have saved me from taking a short here, right? So we have this range. Obviously, they've run up and taken a lot of liquidity on the left here, right? So here's where my setup would save me from myself. And I found that waiting for this is great. So we have this area here, we ran up. So I needed to take this out. Roll back up, take that out, enter somewhere in here, and then run for the next level of liquidity. Yeah, it's weird. We actually, excuse me, Sasha's. So cats usually smell really good. Like you smell their heads and their little bodies, they smell really good. But Sasha, for some reason, her little butt area was smelling really gross. So we like soaped up her butt. We washed it up really good because she was smelling really poopy, but only by her butt. Why, Sasha? Why don't you clean yourself all the day? All day? And then Maddie comes and cleans your butt too? Like, why is it so stinky? But there's no butt, there's nothing on it. It's clean as a whistle looking, but stinky. Anyway, so yeah, got a lot of squishy, yeah, a lot of like scrubby dub dub dub, you know? I will say this though, Sasha, I don't even think it's up here, but let's check. There are no kitties up here, so there's no kitty poopy smelly butts up here. So it's just phantom poop smells. So sorry, I just went on a whole little, tirade of poopy grossness. I apologize wholeheartedly. Ah, I know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. I am so sorry. All right, let's check this next area. So this would have been a London session. Let's see. All right, so London session about here's the range. I need this to sweep it, right? This is the candle that swept it, not this one, this one. So then a retracement back up and a sweep of that. So an entry in here would be what I would be looking for a continuation. In this scenario, we would not have gotten anything, or we would not have gotten an entry. But that's all right. That's all right. I would not be awake at that time anyway, so haha, who cares? All right, let's dip into times when I am awake. So what's this? Oof, that's the PM. So I'm noticing something. So here's another scenario, but I would not have gotten I wouldn't have gotten in. So here, the shift through it here, sweep back up here, shift down, entry would have been right here at the order block for continuation down. Never got the opportunity, but that they never came back to give us an entry, but that's just the nature of the game. Aim for these lows. If they did give you the opportunity for a cool like 86, 87 points, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. But let's see, I would have come in right around 1:45-ish. So we do have, so this kind of such situation does kind of irk me. So we have this guy, we shifted above it right here. So I need a retracement of some kind here. Shift above that, entry at the order block. Left me a nice fair value gap right here for a continuation up. So I should do this since that's where they. And sometimes I think to myself, like, do I have the wrong order block? They left a fair value gap. These two guys right here, because there's a up close candle in the middle of all of these down close candles. So I would not have gotten tagged in on this one if with my new stop. I would have put it at the top of that guy because my stop could be below here, and I would not have gotten tagged in. And that's okay. Sometimes you just don't get in. Because then I would have been aiming, if I got tagged in, I would have been aiming for that high right there. But nope. Let's zoom in. They didn't even tap into this little thing I like. This little, and let's get rid of this. You guys you get the idea. It's me reminding myself over and over again. Like if I put my entry right here, still wouldn't have gotten tagged in. Nope. What were they looking for in this scenario? This guy? Huh. Really do need to look to the left to see what we're working with for entries as well, right? Like, what are they what are they thinking? Like this initial shift down sweep left this juicy little like volume imbalance right here. They ran right into it. Sexy. Right, Eminar? Like sometimes you get that little whiff and it's like instinct, clean that booty. Because they sit on everything. They sit on you. So I'll tell you guys a funny gross story. It's not super gross, but it's still funny-ish, kind of. So my first cat, Jojo, he was pretty sick by the end. So he wanted a lot of comfort. Like this is a cat that was not a lap cat. My entire time having him in all the years, he never wanted lap time. But as he got older and he got sicker, he wanted more comfort, so he wanted to be in my lap all the time. So one day I'm sitting working and he's like there and I pick him up and I put him on my, because he's blind too, right? Blind and sick and just sad little guy. And I put him on my lap. And in my silliness, I didn't realize that, he's old, so we wipe his butt a lot, but he'd probably just gone and pooped. So I sat him down and here's poop on my shirt because his little butt's on me now. And I'm like, got poop on me. And for somebody who hates poop, can you imagine? But that's the thing about having to take care of anyone who's older or any pet family member who's older. You just kind of have to like roll with the punches. So the girl who hates poops had to have poop on her shirt because her kitty was, too old to take care of himself. So I had to like, of course, change my shirt, clean his little poopy butt, and then put him back on my lap. Anyway, let's stop talking about poop. God, what's wrong with you people? Anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't have gotten tagged in on any scenario of this setup. I don't even think this even came down. This sweep, though, technically would have given you a third opportunity for an entry. What time was that? 2:56. Let me tell you something about how much I dislike, and I repeat this, dislike taking trades this close to the hour, any hour. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever. I do not like it. As soon as I clean the little, always watching me from a distance and use it. Right? Right. Oh, Oh, so this morning, same exact thing. I clean up the poop box and I'm like, yay, everything's nice and clean and smells good. Open the door so air out the room so it doesn't smell. Because nothing I can't stand than a house smelling like you have cats. Just because you have cats, it doesn't mean the house has to smell like you have cats. You know what I'm saying? I also don't have dogs for the same reason. Because no joke, dogs are beautiful and lovely creatures, but them stink sometimes. You can smell when a dog is in the house, you know. It's like, whew, we're watching a puppy the last weekend. And yo, the room he was in just smelled like dog. Smelled like dog. I'm like, open all the windows. Ah, why is this happening? Bathe that dog right now. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Back to the charts. So I guess you know what? I'm wondering if I should feel comfortable. So we already had, let's redraw this puppy, right? This is the range. Took this low out. It shifted aggressively, returned back up, shifted above it technically. Oh, you guys, I am like so ridiculous. This is the shift area right here. So the entry would have been here. Wow. Wow. Yo, hold up, hold up. Let's zoom in on that epiphany and take the line off because we can't see proper. Let's zoom in on this. Look at it. I mean, technically, it did shift here. Well, it's weak, and I don't like weak shifts. So a full proper pullback, a full proper shift was this when this candle shifted. And guess what? Look at it. Revel in it. Enjoy it. Look at it. Entry at the order block. Damn. Damn. Look at that. Holy shit. That entry would have come at 2:56 p.m. Right? 2:56 p.m. What? What? And I would just wait for that. Me never need Wally. Just give me that. Lord of his mercies. And that would have been an easy, quick run up. I don't know, man. I think early on I had like this weird fear of the 3 o'clock time frame, like taking a trade because 3 o'clock it might smack me and run off, you know? And it might. It's the risk we take as traders, isn't it? But look on it. It run nice and gone. Actually, so just out of curiosity, it would have been a nice move, but I have to pay attention. Like if it's such a small, it's such a small, simple thing. Like, what if when I started analyzing this little section, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. No, it's not. For my setup, I need a nice clean push above, right? Nice clean little push. Because this is the actual thing, and that's like the shift up, and that's the entry. Sniper. Sniper. Even my normal stop, 37 ticks would have been fine for that. I would have taken a little bit of drawdown as this candle formed, and then it would have run up nice to look for that nice, easy target. Lord of his mercies. All right, on to the next one. It's the small things, man. It's the small things that get you. So let's look at this one. 10:45. So we've been dropping, right? So the only reason that a continuation short would have made sense is if there's more liquidity under here, which let's zoom out. We're on the 1 minute. We're doing all this back to on 1 minute. Plenty. Big area right down here. Even that, whatever. Plenty of juice. Plenty. So let's see. Let's see. So we push back up. Did we take that high out? We did, barely, but we did. And that's fine because I'm looking for continuation short. So we shift below here. We had a little move back up into this little order block right here. No, I don't like that. Like that. this whole thing, actually, hold on before I start drawing that, because something that I've been noticing, right? So the order block on this one is just these two candles up here. This guy breaks up the monotony, and those are just up close candles, right? And then this is a propulsion block because it just ran away, just gone, right? So we have the first shift after here, a run back up, then it shifted down one more time. No joke, I think that douchebag candle right here would have knocked me out. So let's draw it out because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm literally burning this shit into my brain hole. So let's do this. That's the range. Coming to business about this one. We need this whole thing to get taken out. Take out the whole thing, right? That's all. Come back into the area. Take that out. Roll back up for an entry. Drop. No. Stop. No. Would I have been stopped out on this short? Let's see. I have a new stop. So, yes. So if I had, let's see, we have, so I would have need my stop to be above these two down closed candles. So I would have aimed for this guy because I cannot for the life of me stand, especially if my stop is so big. For me, anyway, it's a 1% of my account instead of 0.5%. But my entry, once it break down here, may look for it to come back. Because look, aiming for this low right here. They didn't take it before they ran back up. Look at it. They did not take it. They stopped below it and then ran back up. So my entry would have been here. My old stop would have been knocked out immediately on this candle. But this would have tapped and then I would have dropped. And what is that? Let's take a look at 1 minute. I trade 1 minute. 1670. I will take it. I am not mad. Aiming for nice and easy areas because look, every time they take out some liquidity, they like to bounce. That don't mean they won't continue. Of course, they're going to continue, but I don't know if I need the stress of that continue. And isn't that enough money? I think that's enough money, right? So slow and steady wins the race, right? I don't need the whole thing. So let me tell you something. Until such time as my plan puts me in a place. Hey, what's up, Raina? Oh, a preview for next week, high time frame? Oh, I never do that. But I will for you. I'll give you my thoughts on what I think next week's gonna be. But yeah, in a little bit. I'm currently on a roll. So as soon as I'm done with this, before I close out, I'll do one for you. All right. So I'm actually like, so I only need one trade a day, you know? That's nice. This would have shown up at after, look at that, 11:45 is when the entry would have really hit. Now, something I don't do very often is trade during lunch, so I might not have even caught that. And the morning didn't give anything, so, but that's a setup too. All right, let's dip over. Which day is this? Friday. We're just going right back. Oh, pre-market. We're doing pre-market too, because I'm also considering getting up early and waiting for something. So I get up about 5:30ish. So this pre-market would have netted me nothing because I don't like any of this. I mean, it technically took that out. I would have wanted that, but it did take that out. And then let's look at the format here. Don't like it very much. So this is like an internal thing. This, we swept it here. And then I need a shift above here. They kind of gave it to us and then an entry here, but this isn't ideal. Main reason is I just don't like the way they took the liquidity over here, so I wouldn't have taken that. Would have wasted my morning on that. But if we did this, shifted upwards, waited for this, shifted this way, then to enter the order block, then I could see it. Like so. And then let's see if my stop would have been okay with that. So let's use a longy long. Seven. Oh, that stop would have been juicy for this type of trade. And then my general 210 into this little fair value gap. Yeah, just leave it there. I don't know if I'd be trying to grab anything. There's equal highs up here. That would have been a nice target, but it's pre-market, so not looking for the world. Hmm. But the question is always, do I see this in the moment? Because nothing is more terrifying than everything to the right. When the candle hasn't printed, you don't know where it's going to go, right? So you just have to hope for the best, I guess. All right, on to the next. So this is a Friday, 6. Let's go to the Thursday, October 31st. Okay, I am not trading at night. Doesn't seem to be. I mean, lots of folks make stuff during Asia sessions, but just like pre-market, it's not really my bag, you know? All right, let's see what the PM would have netted us. So again, I'd be in at 130, 145. So this is we've been slowly rolling down. Okay. So let's take a look here. So 145-ish is right around here. So something I need to take into account is whether or not they've already swept liquidity before I came onto the charts. Like, I think part of my problem is I'm sitting around waiting for them to do it in front of me, and they don't need to, right? Like, it's already been swept. So that's a big ass range. I don't need that to, this just seems kind of insane. Mm. Sometimes when they generate liquidity and then take, like, for example, like I prefer this scenario where, you know, they ran up like this, right? They ran up, they took, let's say they took this like shallowly, right? Or this one shallowly, like a shallow cut. And then they rolled back down, made themselves a little low, and then took it again. And then swept that. Now that's something I can get behind, and that's a scenario I could live with. This is not what they did. They just kind of hung around here and then dropped, and it's not the right situation for me. So there's nothing here for me on this PM. I would have ignored it completely. All right, let's see if the morning gave us anything juicy. Oh, this looks like a high resistance douchebag of a day. Let's be clear. It's definitely a high resist. This is a range. And ranges are like, what's a good word for ranges? Ranges can kiss my bumper. Just kiss it. Okay? I'm not a scalper, so ranges and I don't play well. Let me drink some more water. So this is a Thursday. I wouldn't have gotten anything in this day. Let's see if the pre-market was anything better. Ooh, there's some equal highs on the pre-market. That would have been a nice target to reach for. Would they have given us anything juicy? Uh, so they had liquidity here, here, and here. They took that. This is, I hate these. So they wait for that to get taken. It technically got taken here, a retracement. They didn't shift above this until here, and then maybe an entry like at the order block here. But I don't like it. I wouldn't have, it's not clean, it's not clear. I wouldn't have bothered with this either. So let's ignore that. So this day was just a shit show of bullshit that we don't trade. All right. I'm glad we got that cleared up. Oh, what time was that? Okay, yeah. This is the early morning. Let's head to Wednesday. Let's head to the PM. Yeah, we just doing the do here, y'all. We just doing the do. Oh God, this is like another BS range again. Nothing here. Yeah, nothing here. I mean, it's just ranging. This is also another day to just skip. At least this PM session is just a giant pile of skip. What is this? This is nothing. Also nothing. Let's see. Was there at least a short in here? Let's zoom in. Okay, so 9:45-ish. Took out these liquidity. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so what would have worked? So the range for this is this. I would have need this right here, then a sweep back up, then a shift below here. Still pretty ugly. So first shift, sweep below, return back up to an order block, and then drop. So it's ugly, but you've gotten a little something, something. And you need to start using a path to build muscle memory just from looking at you, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to remind myself, like, it's in here. I just need to notice it. And then if I can just notice it, then I will ignore the rest of the stuff that chop me up, you know? So that's why I keep drawing it over and over again. Like that's why I keep doing it like over and over again. So let's see. In this gross chop fest of grossiness, for this sweep, what's the order block in this scenario? This guy? This I would not use this one. It's too low. There's this chop fest of grossness. And this is, I probably wouldn't have taken this. This is too ugly. I would be second guessing where my order block needs to be in this scenario. Like if I was looking for a short. And if I'm being honest with you, like after this shift, I probably would have put it here just so I could have a little bit of space up here. And then I would have gotten my 210 ticks because it would have tagged me in here, left me with a little bit of drawdown, and then given it to me here. So in terms of like stop management, like once we ran down, getting so close to my TP, nice. My stop would be right here, paying for fees. And then once we drop below here, or drop below any of this, my stop's here, and then wait to see if I get my thing. Because it's such a choppy mess, we can't be looking for too much. Let's get to the left, like 210. Yeah, so my thing's here. Yeah, so I wouldn't be looking for a ton. It's just so choppy. In other scenarios where there's tons of liquidity and the market's been moving really healthily, like 100, 200 points throughout the day in both directions, then yeah, I can look for more, but look at this. No way. It's not moving that far. So if I get just this 210, I'm good. I'm golden. All right. That's the AM. Let's see. Did this pre-market have anything juicy? So we had these high right here. We could have reached for. All right. Let's see. Would we have gotten anything decent? Okay, so we came down, shifted here. Again, a lot of choppiness, but this is the range for me. I need this swept here, return back up, sweep that, return to order block, and then entry in this general vicinity. This is ugly because again, where is my entry area? Where is my order block that I'm like looking for? Let's see. So if I put a long position with the new 74 tick stop, like I would need, if this is the retrace back, I need to be, my stop needs to be below this little area here. And what's this stop? What's the order block? It's so choppy. Because I would have said all of this if there wasn't a green candle breaking it here. This guy, potentially, if I put it at the body. Ugh. So let's see, sweep, shift, entry area. Oh, sorry, looking in the wrong place for the entry. So in this area here, I should be looking for an order block. But they left me some juicy stuff. So I probably would have put it here with this little guy. And then technically this is the order block right here. It's really hard to see, but with my stop, I would have put it there and hope for the best. And I'm just looking for this high to get taken. So my 210's there. Yeah, and it's right at the high too. That's great. So let's see. I would have had to. Oh hell no. So I tell you what would have happened. We would have gotten close to my TP, and I, as always, would be managing my stop because there's no way in hell. So after this, I'm like stops here. We roll down and run up. Stops here. I would be expecting it to continue up. And they rolled down, it would have stopped me out right here for what? From that entry to here. So maybe $500. Yeah, approximately. Hey, a win is a win, green is green. You know what I'm saying? In my journal, I set anything under $60 as break even. So that's how I'm calculating my break evens. But that's how that would have played out for me. I mean, obviously, I would have gotten it if I just didn't do that, but I'm not. I don't know about you, but I am not getting so close to my TP and then letting them come back and put me in drawdown. I refuse. You can always get back into another trade. Always. And pre-market, I'm really, really wanting to be out of that trade before 8:30 because there's always some news or something coming in at that point, and I don't want to be in the middle of it. So, yeah. Liquid sugar. I don't know why I keep saying that, but I like saying it because it's funny. And then water to wash down the sugar. All right, let's continue this looking. So pre-markets is looking more and more potentially like I need to spend some time hanging out in pre-market. It really is. All right, so we're moving on. We're moving on to that was Wednesday, October 29th. Let's move on to Tuesday. And I'm not trading at night and I'm not doing London session because I like my beauty sleep. All right, so here's an area where I suck at continuation stuff. Like, let's nip over to the left. Like, I can't even see it on 1 minute, like what they're aiming for. So I bet you there was some like 15-minute, 1 hour high or fair value gap or something they were running up to. So I would have come into this PM like, God damn it. Can I get like an internal sweep, a shift above that, and then an entry? And technically, it's ugly. I wouldn't have taken anything in here because I just don't know how to deal with this. Now, maybe later on in life when I've um become profitable and I've made myself a nice nest egg, then I would like try a tiny trade in this crate in this space because I have space to put my stop. But I'm not giving away my liquidity just to ride a slow grind up. Probably would have spent the whole time waiting for like, some sort of shift to go short. But for me, like, especially if it's the market's trending, like properly trending in one direction, for me to go in the opposite direction, I need that double shift, which is my model anyway. And trust me, it's saved. I used to take the first market structure shift and I would get caught out because the market wasn't done moving in the one direction. Both when you wait for the second break of structure, then you've got that confirmation and you can keep going. So that saved me like a ton. All right, let's see what we got in the morning. So in the morning, what is this? 10 for ugh, God, this is awful. Because look, what do we have here? We have them run up. Did they give me something juicy? Oh goodness. Ugh, this is ugly. So days like this tell me that I should just mind my own business and not bother. But if I was, here's that. I don't like wick stuff, right? So then I would have looked at this, then I would have needed some kind of retracement, which they did here, then they shifted down. So I would have probably taken an entry here in the hopes that I could get something lower here. But obviously, I think at this point, bullish was was the main thing. But let's see, like, even in this shitty space for a short, let's see, my stop would have been okay. Um, and they left a fair value gap in here, so I would have set my order here. Then I would have had to sit through all of this bullshit. And then once it dropped, I would have moved my stop to break even and then been tagged out here. Fine. Not amazing, but fine. The problem with that is I have a hard time taking trades against the higher time frame like trend. So this is pushing up. I wouldn't necessarily have taken this short. Not really. Probably would have waited to see if they wanted to take this liquidity. Like the more likely potential for me here would have been, okay, we have this little range right here. Wait for them to take it. Not like this, but with like a proper. So they took it here, and then I return back down, and then shift up, and then get in somewhere in this general in these order blocks. So that would have saved me from all of this choppity chop 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 because I needed a body close, right? And even if let's say I did accept this wick as the shift, I don't really trust that, right? So then I still need like a shift up and then a retracement back up, back down. We got a small one. Well, technically, this is a better one like that. And then I would have I would have set my order at the order block. Problem is like this one is not as clean as I would like, right? Let's see, 10%. That's a decent stop for that. So if this is the first shift, sorry guys. So if this is the first shift, it's a lot of movement. This is the retracement. This is the shift up here. This is clean and clear. It's pretty obvious. Set my entry at the top of that guy. Look at that puppy. Move my stop this way because I don't need to take that much heat. And then look for the nearest like liquidity. So if let's say I wasn't fast enough, like I got this entry here, I would have been kicked in on this candle, then this, and then once it started moving up, my stops here. Actually, I would have been tagged out if I just left that there. But they had places to go and things to do this way. So I bet you anything there was like some juicy liquidity up here. Maybe even some equal highs. Let's nip up to the 5 minute. Problem with reason why I didn't want to do that is because I'm not damn it. I've moved too far back. Let's zoom back. Zooming in. Oh, did I zoom off? Zoom back too far. Let's see. Okay, right here. And I'm gonna hit the replay button so I don't have to keep starting. I'm just gonna drop it here so I can, since this is where we're playing with, let's go to the 15 minute. So I want to see what's on the left. Oof, is that all-time highs? Something I really dislike is all-time highs. Yeah, it looks like there's nothing to the left of me, so I would have just gone for my base hit and been done with it. Yeah, and just hope, that would have worked. But that is actually the setup, isn't it? It's just ugly, but it is the setup. Wait, did that take that low out? Oh, it did. Hmm. Let's see, does that change anything? It's just that it did shift up past here. And then we did this, and then we swept it again. So the entry has to, yep, same thing. It's ugly, but it's there. Hey, what's up, Abundance? How's it going, man? Good weekend? Yeah, yeah. I don't have any glasses to put on. Wait. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I should wear these more often. They're for the computer lighting, blue lights, blue light glasses. Where are the cleaners for this? This thing's filthy. So the cats have been batting about my glasses cleaner bottle for quite a while. So I'm like, I don't know which corner of this room it's in to clean it. But anyway, yeah. So let's see. When would the entry have been given to me? So I would have had to sit through all this BS, and entry would have been at 12:32. I'm not trading at that time, but it's good to know that it's there. All right, let's continue onward for the pre-market for this day. So 5:30. So I need to also note if they've already done some liquidity sweeping before I got there. And then I can get in on the next stage of it. So I'd be on about right around in this general vicinity. So what do we have? Oh, we have a bunch of ranges here. So let's grab the most obvious one. They shifted above it. We need a retracement back down, then a shift above that with a body, and then an entry in this general vicinity. So order blocks are all the way down here, but I like this little break because of the fair value gaps here. There's one here too. So let's see if my new stop would have been helpful for this. Oh, yeah, that would have been a juicy stop. So let's say I put my entry right there because my stops are juicy. And what would I be aiming for? Well, 210, we got this high. That's perfect. So let's see, does that work out for me? Yes, it does. With some time, right about there. Hmm. I really have been sleeping on this thing. Like I've been looking for perfection, and I just need to look for the pattern. That's it. So if I look for the pattern, that's all I need to do. Because look at this. We got a low before I came in. This is the range. They just swept it. Return back into an obvious space, and then take that with a body, and then return into it for an entry, and then go. Because once it's pre-market, so once that happens, I'm gonna tell you, it ran up this much. I don't even know how much that is. Let's check. Because once it runs up and then takes the little high, look at that. I'm putting my stop right around, break even right there. And then just let's see if it rolls up. And then at this point, again, as we're making new lows, like put my stop here until we take this high out, like with some alacrity. And then wait to see if they want to do pullback after they take the high out. And then once they leave that pullback, put my stop here. And then once they leave this area, take that high out, move my stop there. Pretty much the same place. And then if they leave something here and then push past it, move my stop here and then keep going. Something like that. If I was aiming for more, then leave it down here and just give it room to breathe, is what I would assume. Okay. But it's there. It's there. It's there all the time. And I am just sleeping on it. But I mean, if I follow this very, very strict A plus setup, I could have a trade almost every day if I really want to. And let's say I have a trade and I take my base hit every day. That's $1,000 a day. Easy peasy. If I'm wrong, that's okay. That's a 370 loss, and I come back the next day and take another trade. All right, let's continue. So that's a Tuesday. Let's roll into a Monday and let's keep going. So this is Monday, 3:40 something. So last week, was it Wednesday and Thursday, gave me the same exact setup. And I missed the first one because I was literally waiting for it. And then somebody rang my doorbell. And I was like, no, why right the second? And I haven't hit that point where I can just set the order and go do something. I need to see if the pattern, actually formed before I set the order, because I've done like preemptive stuff and no joke, it slapped me in the face. You don't want to do preemptive stuff. So at least I don't want to. I'm not yet so badass that I can just, make everything work for me. All right, so this is the PM, right? This is Monday the 27th. And this looks like we're very bullish, so we're trending upwards. So what would we be looking for? Similar scenario. I need some liquidity to get taken. So we had some liquidity taken here. So this look at this. So here is and we didn't take it here, we didn't take it here, we took it here. So this, and then we need a pullback. And then we needed to push up. And then we need it to dip into an order block and then continue running up for something. This one's not super pretty though. Like, what is even the order block for the entry here? It's this guy. So did this guy leave a fair value gap? So I don't like these kinds of setups because I need it to be a lot clearer in terms of like the entry. Like this guy was very clear. Like I want to go up. Now, if I was more aggressive and I wasn't waiting for this to get shifted, once this happened, because this is a smaller shift right here. They tapped into the order block and then shifted up, left a fair value gap, juicy, and then ran for the hills. That's a potential, but it's not my setup, so I don't take those. But just for funsies, and I don't take things in chop. So at least I try not to take things in chop. So let's say I did set my order here and I had to sit through all of this foolishness. What would have happened? So I'm gonna tell you what would have happened. Like entry here. Actually, let's zoom in a little tighter here. Zooming in, zooming in. So I'm gonna put my entry right here and this little guy right here. And then when this left here, I would have moved my stop to break even. Actually, hold on, it's not even 50% towards my target. So I probably shouldn't move my stop until it's past 50%. Probably. Probably would have. And then would have been stopped out on this silly candle. Ridiculous. And then it would have run up. So maybe I think that is the rule. God damn it. I forgot my own rules, y'all. Ridiculous. So for this one, I probably would have moved my stop to about here, below the candle that formed the fair value gap, and just let it run. And then taken that. So it would have worked. It just would have been messy. And I would have had to expect that messy because look at what we had moving up. Like this is just messy. It's just messy. So this is kind of the day I probably wouldn't have bothered. What did the morning give me? So this one's not so bad, actually, right? So they swept liquidity here, shifted up here, rolled back in, and then ran back up. So an entry is in this vicinity here for a continuation up. I don't think I would have gotten tagged in because what's my order block in all of this? And let's see if my new stop, because my old stop always stopped me from taking certain trades. So that would have been my entry and I would not have gotten tagged in. The other thing though is the fair value gap could have potentially been the entry, but I've been using the order blocks. So I would have absolutely, positively missed out on this particular trade. Now, something I'm not really great at is once we had this retracement back and we have this guy, I might have put, and let's see, because we have, if this is my original entry desire, and that's not really an order block. In this chop fest of grossness, like none of these for me are like this is the order block that's pushing it up, but it's just too much of a chop fest for me to pick a particular down close candle for an entry. So I wouldn't have gotten an entry here. Other folks would have said, well, there's a secondary scenario where if they come into an area where I'm looking for an entry and then they like drop into it and then they form a fair value gap, then the order block in that general vicinity is where I would have taken the entry. Sadly, they would not have tagged me in on that one either. But the order block is actually 1, 2, 3 candles. So I don't know, could I have moved it to the second candle? I don't know. Would I have been fast enough to have caught like a little tag in from this? Probably not. I don't know. But I need my low to be below this at minimum. So any of these little retracements um, should have taken the propulsion block right here for this little leg. That would have tagged me in, but it's not perfect, you know? And then I would have had to sit through what, like almost 2 hours before I got my TP. But once it rolled up here, my stop is to break even. Once we're past the midpoint, put my stop right here. So I either get tagged out or I get my stuff and just walk away. I'm still working on that walk away, you know. I have this desire to watch the damn things. But that's a potential because that's actually the setup. Even if it's messy, that's the setup. All right, let's continue on. I am literally just rinse and repeating the hell out of this. So I hope you're all enjoying this rinse cycle because that's what it is. My rinse cycle. All right, let's continue moving. This is blah, blah, blah. Oh, let's look at the pre-market because I'm gonna attempt the pre-market to just see if I see my setup. So again, I get up about 5:30. So I would have been rolling it sometime in this scenario. So what do we have? We have some liquidity being taken here. So we have this range right here. And we shifted above it here. So I would like some sort of retracement back down. There's a fair value gap here. I'd love that, but they didn't bother. Then they shifted up. And then I would have loved an entry in here. I did not get that. So I would not have gotten a trade on this setup. I would have set my order. Oof, love this. I would have set my order in the middle of this. Or at least, you know, if my, let's see, if my new stop, ooh, looks like it could. If my new stop, top of that order block right there, I love that it's encompassing this thing. So if they choose to fall back down into it, lovely jubbly. And then just wait to see if I get something. But nope. So first shift, sweep, shift. What am I doing? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, my entry's supposed to be somewhere over here. What am I thinking? Guys, I'm getting tired. Getting tired. Because this is the first shift, right? Let's do that since we didn't retreat back down. So this is the top where we start retreating back down. And then this is like a small drop. So then I would have gotten some kind of entry and sat in the chop and maybe got stopped out. Honestly, like once this started moving back up, I would have moved my stop to break even and gotten stopped out in this mess of BS crap right here. So not ideal. So we've seen some good, you know, sniper versions. We've seen versions where I would have been stopped out break even. And we've seen a version, if you're going against a trend, that would have just still sort of break even or just straight stopped me out. All right, so I don't trade London, so never mind on that puppy. This is a Sunday. So let's, oh, is this when we gapped up like a boss? Woohoo! Gotta love a good gap up. All right, let's continue in this direction. Well, tell you what, let's take a mini pause. Let's leave that and let's take a look at the higher time frame for Reno real quick. All right, so what do we have going for the week ahead? Let's look at the weekly candles. All right, so last week was a nice pushback. So if I'm being honest with you, it's all still pretty bullish for me until we take out this low. So this little range right here on the weekly, so we need to drop it, retrace back up into it, and then drop it again. And then we could continue, you know, bearish from a weekly perspective, right? And then where are we going? Like the last time they dropped, they came and took out these equal lows down here. This is the nearest weekly low. That's 16. The probability of them dropping the NASDAQ to 16,454. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but the probability of them dropping it that low again after they've pumped it up on literal air, I don't know, man. Only an oracle could tell you if they will do that. But let's see, from this high to this low, they dropped it what? Like approximately about whoa, 59.55 points. That's a 20, almost 27% drop. So let's, let's take a look at the general drop ratios here to their little drops. It's about 17%. So that was a big one right there. Let's see about this drop right here. That's, yeah, 37%. So I guess they could. There's nothing stopping them because they're pumping it up on literally nothing. So if they were to drop it this way, that would be like a 37% drop. So we've seen they've done that already, like right here. So it wouldn't be weird. But if you like back up and just take a gander at the NASDAQ, like no matter what, it's just going to continue going up. It's literally, its main purpose in life is appreciation and with retracements, you know, it's go up with retracements, go up with retracements. But for this week, I'm literally, I don't know. Until they break this low and then retrace and drop, then I'd say like a bearish trend is ensued. But for now, I'm not gonna say that because I need the charge to tell me what it wants to do. You know what I'm saying? Like in this scenario, like we had this little high to work with, they failed to take it and they dropped. And then they just kept dropping, like each day was a down day. We didn't get like that perfect setup like here where, they're running up. They took the low out, retraced, and then dropped again, but then they continued up because the trend is always up. But for me, I need something like this for better confirmation because in this scenario, even though we had just a run back down, like they ran literally into a weekly order block here and then continued up, you know? Similar scenario here. They just ran down, took some equal lows, and then continued running up. So I generally wait for Monday morning to play out. And then if the PM gives me something clear, I'll take it. But a lot of times I don't trade on Mondays. So I don't know. But right now, the daily is, what do? They ran to close some big gaps. They ran to dig into this one, close that up, close that little guy up, close this little guy up. But what have they done right now? They've literally, look at the candle, right? They like kind of stopped and ran off. So I don't know. I don't know. Do we take this rejection and then start moving back up again? Possible. For me, I need to see them close below this candle for a continuation low. So what I'm going to end up doing is trading the session trend, right? So on the higher time frame, if the daily says bearish, like it is now, if the 4 hour says bearish, like it is here, if the 1 hour says bearish, then I would only look for shorts, right? But if that session is moving in one particular direction, then trade in that direction because that's where they want to go for the session. That's a good time. Anyway, that's my general thoughts. Like there's no crystal ball, I think, for this stuff. Like you have your thoughts on where it might go, and then the market tells you where it will go. So I would suggest don't get too stuck on your expectations about where things are going to go, because then you won't be as fluid as you need to be to, you know, take the trades in the direction that the market is actually moving. Because I've done that. I've been so doggedly, it must do what I think it's going to do. But man, this market don't need to do shit that you think it's going to do. It's going to do what it wants to do. And F what we want. You know what I mean? We out here supposed to be trading what the market's telling us, not trading what we want it to do. Anyway, I hope that helps. Rainer, I don't know. If it does, that's just my thoughts. I mean, if you look at the 1 hour, they like dug into a bunch of stuff. And then something that I do on a regular basis that works really well for me is if you look at higher time frame like PD arrays, right? Like look at this one, right? I like to look for areas where price has been rejected multiple times, right? Because in those areas, like you can expect it to occur again or get some sort of continuation in the other direction. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, let's see. Sorry. Buy side imbalance, sell side liquidity. So let's look at this guy for a second. Make sure I've drawn that correctly. Let's do that, and then pull that one down. So I like areas where price has been pushed in the opposite direction. And I want to know if when we get close to or tap into that space, oh, I don't know about beautifully explained. I don't have that kind of eloquence right now. I just say what comes to mind, and that is all. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. But these higher time frame spaces where price has rejected from on multiple occasions, they are huge, and you need to pay close attention to it. And that's what I was doing this week. Like there's one, let me see. There's one up here, right here, that I was watching this week. Right up here. Yup, juicy. Is that the right one? Yeah, I think it is. So look at this guy. So look at this guy. Pay attention to these areas because it's something I'm looking for all the time. These areas where price has been rejected from. So you have two opportunities with these areas, right? You either wait for them to get disrespected and then re-tapped into and then continue like so, or you use them for continuation in the area they've been, supporting price towards. Like since this guy's been formed, we've had it reject here, hang out, nobody's closed above it. This is the 1 hour, and then reject again. Came back into it. What did we do? Wick. Not even a real body through the midpoint. Let me make sure I've like drawn that properly. Those things matter, like make sure it's like properly touching the little wiki wick there. Yeah. Look at that. Body, touch, drop. Beautiful areas for that type of thing. Really beautiful areas for that type of thing to occur. And I do believe like a couple of my setups that I missed happened in this area. Well, it was juicy. So, I higher time frame like PD arrays will give you lots of like potential opportunities. Also, here's another one. Let's clone this puppy. Here's another one right here. Just keep looking for them, man. Just keep looking for areas where price has been rejected from, and then you can use them for entries, targets, that kind of thing. So like when this one formed, we tapped into it and dropped. The important part for this is if you're coming back into it, there's still liquidity below you. We had this, we had this. If they tap it, they can drop and run into to take these liquidities, or even aim for another area where they've rejected from a few times. Like it's really powerful, and like I think this was, yeah, this is the Wednesday one that I was looking for. I wasn't even looking for like a big, you know drop or anything, but we got those kind of like setups in this scenario. It's not bad at all. It's pretty great. Anyway, I digress. I'm going off on a tangent. This is good. All right, let's continue on with this, burning it into my psyche. Oh, oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, like, I only took one trade this week, and I took a loss, and it was Thursday of this week, and I was very salty. So I don't know if I'll just share it one more time. So I don't know if everybody was here. No trades on Friday, but Thursday in the PM, waiting, was waiting for beautiful short, and I shot myself in the foot because I was just, I don't know why I was second guessing my structure, but I was sitting here second guessing. So this is the proper structure, right? High, we shifted a body below here, beautiful. We retraced and then we shifted again below it, entry in here for a beautiful, beautiful drop. But I don't know why. Maybe I was just sitting waiting too long and I got tired. I don't know. But I changed my mind for some reason and I decided that this was the shift. And I almost never do that. And I don't know why I did that, but I did it. So then I set this instead. And then when it took this, I set my order. Actually, it's my first time using my new stop. There's 74 take stop loss, right? So 18.5. And I set it here. And of course, I got stopped out. But then had I just waited for the proper setup to form, because I was just kicking myself. I was like, why did I do that? Proper setup was this. Wait for them to shift below this low. They did it here. They left a very clean and clear entry area. Clean and clear entry area. And I was looking, so we had this beautiful set, unbroken set of order blocks. Set my entry right there. I took it in paper. I took that in paper. And then I was aiming for that little crack right here to the left. Right there, this little guy right there. Yeah. And that worked out like gangbusters. I don't know, I can even show it to you. Let's see, paper trading, if this ever loads on the bottom. Is it going to? Okay. Look at that. That's the trade I should have taken. So I took a 390 loss slippage instead of a 1955 win on real account. I am down 1105 on the year, which is incredible because last year by this point I was probably down 5K. But this is what I was really salty about that. I can't lie to you. I was really salty about that. It was really good setup, really good positioning. And all I had to do is just wait for my setup to form and not be impatient, but I was impatient. So the lesson there is don't be impatient. The trader that is disciplined, patient, and can sit and wait is the trader that wins. Like, I know a lot of us feel like we need to be doing something, pressing the button, action, some kind of action. But I keep repeating this over and over again, to myself. It's like a huge reminder. Trading doesn't require that. Every other job does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're a construction worker, you're a teacher, you work in IT, whatever it is that you do. Like those things require you to be constantly doing something every, minute of the day. You might take a bathroom break or whatever, right? Like you're expected to be doing something. But trading is the exact opposite of that. And a lot of humans just can't make that mind shift. Just can't because trading requires silence. It requires a different kind of work, you know? It requires you to sit and wait. Because look at this trade. I sat and waited all day for it. Because now, what are you doing? You're sitting, you're analyzing, you're thinking, you're waiting. So I sat and I analyzed and I thought and I was waiting for it because I got a similar setup the day before, right? I was just sitting waiting. But your job, our job as traders, is to keep the mind sharp and ready so that when you see your edge, our edge, you just take it and we're like, that's it. We're good. Win or lose. Isn't it? Win or lose, just take it. But sometimes you can have fatigue, and then these moments can occur where you take stupid trade when you're waiting for this juicy trade. Because look how clear that entry area is now, right? I'm not even looking at these guys as order blocks. This is just marking time, right? Once we swept this, now I'm looking at this lovely juicy grouping of order blocks and semi-entry here. And I'm okay because there's no big fair value gap up here. You know, I'm just going to take it. Take a little heat when we roll back up into it. And then look, we just staircase down the whole time, hung about a little bit, thinking about our lives in this moment right here, and then finally get our TP. What was this? 384. Look at this. Look at this juicy, juicy, juicy trade. Bob and Wolfie can tell you, like, I was salty. I was salty as hell at myself. But it's a huge learning thing for me, like huge. So me sitting here and like going through trading view and just looking for my setup over and over and over and over again in its what's the word I'm looking for, in its lack of purity is so important for me, so that I don't make this mistake again. So I will continue to fight myself and my impulses and work with my patience and try to see my setup. Part of my Oh, you think so? Okay, so for fun fact, I'm not really great at clipping anything, or I'm not actually like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not like the YouTuber that's out here to get like a million followers and get funded or whatever the heck. I might do a short just as a motivational video for myself and anybody else that wants to watch it, but I'm too lazy to do any clipping or anything. But the point is true, and I've been listening to a lot of, and guys, I think it's like 12, like I've been almost at this for 2 hours. So I'm gonna probably stop soon. So I'm gonna get big and just finish this out with like my thoughts and on the psychology and stuff. And then start back again this week. But I've been watching a lot of this YouTuber's videos. Like I think he's the Zen Trader or something. Anyway, his videos are awesome because dude's like, his whole channel is just about the psychology of trading and, you know, the different stages that you go through as a trader. Like I'm not even 2 years into trading my live funds, right? And I've spent the first year and change beating myself up in the with the expectation that I should already be profitable. I'm like, I'm not saying that there aren't people out here who are like epic and they're profitable within 6 months of starting their trading journey. Like, kudos to you. Everybody's got a different journey to be on, you know? Mine seems to be following the same journey as most traders. It takes 3 to 5 years to become profitable for most traders, I think, because the real issue is that you have to fight yourself, and then it doesn't help that there's all of this social media out here and people talking about their P&Ls and there's just so much noise, so much noise. And I think like if you're going to be a profitable trader, you need to shut it all out. Just don't. If you're on a Discord and people are posting, oh, here's my trade setup, blah, blah, blah. That's great to look at after you're done with your trading session. You know what I mean? Like, you can comment, talk about the setups. That's great. You don't need to be looking at it throughout the time as you're waiting for your setup to form because that's distraction. Like, I sometimes like to, watch Tanya trades, right? No, she's an established, profitable trader, and I don't watch her, excuse me, I don't watch her stream like all the way through. I usually just pop in to see if, she's taken a similar trade that I was thinking about. And nine times out of 10, she has, you know? And because of that, like when I'm looking for a trade, I'm not watching anybody else's trades. Not even Teach Maya, which I like to watch because, she's also on her journey and, more power to her for doing her thing. Um, but mainly like I try to just focus in on what I'm waiting for. And then when it gets close to looking like I'm gonna get what I want, I just zoom in on that even tighter. I gotta say, I'm like the one thing I'm really grateful for now though is I do have like a tiny Discord and is like four people in there, five, I think. And, just Bob, Wolfie, Life, Thomas, that's it. And we just talk about our strategies and keep each other, or at least try to keep each other accountable, and I think that's amazing because I think the one thing we need as traders is some sort of a community to actually talk about your feelings and how things are going. And because no joke, like without that, before that, I would just start crying. Like whenever a I did something stupid, like it was the emotion was just so much. And I hate crying. And I honestly think like all the waterworks are coming out more now because my mom passed like last year and I've never had a real loss like that. And it makes me a lot more emotionally aware, which is insane. And then, dealing with that loss and then and then my cat died. Like my mom passed in April last year and my cat passed in November. And I was like, oh my God, like what is happening? I'm losing all this, my favorite people like back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then you're trying to also do this trading thing and then you're losing and you're losing and you're losing and then every loss just feels like someone's out to spite you. But the truth is no one's out to spite you, you know? Either you take the time you need to grieve and deal with whatever it is that's driving you nuts. And I'm serious, right? There are no words, life. You just kind of have to deal with it, And I gotta say, like, trading's been, I don't remember which trader I saw that said this. Like, he said, it's the easiest, hardest way to make money. Easy because you can just press a button, hard because you gotta manage yourself. You gotta master you. And a lot of people don't really know who they are until they start trading and they start to lose money and then they react. And it's that reaction that really decides if you're a trader or a gambler. You know what I'm saying? Because if you react and you're like, man, F the shit, I gotta get my money back, the market owes me, and man, and you just like, just firing off trades back and forth, then you're gonna lose because you haven't taken the lesson from the loss, right? I do use this place for many purposes. This whole channel is just for me to track my journey. No joke. Like through all of the pain and suffering and the emotional drama, like I want to be able to come back and look at these videos and go, oh well, this is a whole new version of me. You know what I mean? Like versus who I am now. Because I can tell you, like, the me now is not the me last year at this time at this same time. I am like leaps and bounds better than I was last year. Even if I'm not profitable, growth. Growth is what matters. If you look back and you see that you're in the same place, you're doing something wrong because you need to be spending the time to analyze. Trading is not one of those like get rich quick things. It's not. It's a gradual it's a gradual process. You know what I mean? Because there's so much emotional crap that goes with it. I'm being very straight up. Like last year, I would start crying. I mean, I was already massively emotional about my mom passing and the cat passing and just this family. It was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like, and grief is a weird thing because, like, anything will set you off. You know, like you could just be cooking something and you look at something and that's how she used to make it. And, you know, like grief is a weird thing. And the whole time I was taking care of my mom, I didn't know how I would feel once she passed. I knew it was coming eventually. I wasn't ready for it when it did come. I don't know who can be ready for that sort of thing. But anyway, the point is, regardless of whatever is happening in each of our lives, right? As we go through this journey, like if we're gonna get to any kind of consistency, we have to work through our issues. Like we have to stop thinking about losing as some kind of punishment. Losing is a lesson. And you got to go back and look at that trade and be like, what did I miss? Right? Just like the trade on Thursday, I took the loss. Like I was of two minds and I took the less obvious setup and I lost. But then when I literally in the moment I closed myself out of my platform and I was like, I drew that wrong. And once I redrew it and then I saw what I needed, I took it in paper and it worked out like gangbusters. Every loss needs to be a learning experience. It's not the market punishing us. We're traders. If we want to be traders, we got to grow, we got to learn. So, yeah, I journal. I have plans. I'm trying to treat this as a business. And unlike last year, like every time I take a stupid loss like this, my only irritation is shit. I messed up my setup. Not this market, man. This is some bullshit. I can't believe me. Man, forget that. Losing is nothing. Okay? Losing without learning is the problem for most people. Like, if I was the same person when I started trading last year, I think my worst trading day, took 23 or 24 trades in one day. Can you imagine on one mini? I think I lost like $1,200 that day, acting the fool. And guess what? If I wasn't journaling and reviewing all of that, I might have continued doing that for much longer than I did, you know, because I started late January 2024. And oh my God, like I even the way I traded was different, you know, like what I was looking for was different. Hey, Wolfie, what's going on, man? Woo! You know? But because I journaled, I sat back and I looked at it. I looked at it hard. And I'm like, two things that really, really like resonated with me. One, trading a whole bunch stupidly loses you a lot of freaking money. And two, fees. When you're trading like a dumbass and then like I don't trade prop firms, right? So I gotta pay the broker's fees and the commission and fees that go with it. So imagine 24 trades times 730 in fees, round trip. Fees come and get you, you know? Like you gotta think about all of the things that when you're making money as a trader, making and losing money as a trader. Imagine you're losing, you're paying fees on top of fees. Man, I calculate all of that, all of it. And I'm gonna tell you something, it's not worth all them fees. Like, find your edge, right? If your edge is scalping for small amounts, knock yourself out. That works for you? Beautiful. Mine is I'm looking for that setup that will net me a nice return. And then I can take maybe 3 trades a week looking for that. Two, Like if I got that trade on Thursday, that's almost $2,000 in one trade. I don't need to take another trade for the week if I don't want to. That's okay. There's no rush, you know? And I'm saying all of this big, because I'm saying it to myself. I'm reminding myself because in the moment I was so salty. Like Wolfie heard me, Bob heard me. Like I start sharing the actual setup, and I'm like, I've been saying this, like I keep laughing and saying, like, I feel like I'm being punked, like I wait all day for the setup and then it it comes at the end of the day, and then I might do something stupid or something, or I'm not doing something stupid, but something interrupts me and I have to leave and then I miss it. It's like I've been trying to remove the feeling that I'm being punked by the markets. I really have. I've started meditating again, just, like trying to get my mind right because even though my discipline has gotten a ton better, right? It doesn't preclude me from making stupid mistakes or missing something because I'm just forcing it. Because I've been waiting all week for a setup, or the day before I had a good setup, but I missed it because somebody was at the doorbell. You know what I mean? Like small things like that. But anyway, all of that to say is it's a journey. I'm still on it, and it's okay for me to not be perfect. I keep having to remind myself to give myself grace. Gotta give yourself some grace because this is not an easy place to be. But I'm not gonna lie to you, the potential for financial freedom is why I'm here. It's why every trader's here. We all want to be able to make unlimited funds because we know that when we go to work, we get paid the exact same thing every 2 weeks, right? Or whatever the cadence is that we get paid, right? We know that. We know exactly how much is going to come into our bank accounts and not a penny more. But with trading, sky's the limit. I mean, if I got in that trade 1955 in one trade, kidding me, man. Not even, that's more than I make in a week, probably. I haven't calculated it, but I'm sure it's more than I make in a week. Or it's close to what I make every 2 weeks. And that's because trading is limitless. Limitless loss too, if you're a dummy. So for me, risk management and like guarding my capital like a harpy is super important. But I also need to remember, like, I'm not trading as much as I used to, so I need to be open to opening up my stop more and being okay with that. So that's what I'm trying. And I think that eventually it's going to get me to where I need to go. Anyway, enough harping about all that stuff. But I mean, that's where I'm at in my head. Like that's what I'm thinking about every time I open the charts. I'm like, all right, let's just focus in on what we need to see. And no joke, this whole week I'm just gonna be drawing everything. I'm gonna draw it out. Ever since I started drawing it out, like it's so much clearer. And as I'm waiting for what I'm waiting for, if I don't get it, I don't take a trade. It's just that simple. It's hard. It's hard, you know, to not take as many trades, but it is what it is. Because I know that this is gonna net me more money in the long run. So anyway, I think that's enough pontificating, I suppose, for one day. And we didn't get any more kitties to come and harass with us. We didn't get a Sasha to come so we could check her newly washed stinky butt. They smell so cute. All right, guys, it is time for me to continue enjoying my Sunday. I am going to head to the gym. They have a sauna. I'm going to go sit in it for 20 minutes, sweat, and think about and read a book. Come back, shower, and just relax. Eat some food, maybe take a nap, anything. So, no matter what you choose to do for the rest of your day, Enjoy it. Life, no more trades, okay? Relax yourself. Give your mind a little when it put your mind through the rinse cycle of relaxation, okay? Hey, I like that. Rinse cycle of relaxation. What if I'm a poet and I didn't know it? Yo, Ebenar, bless up my youth, for real. Everything all right, man. Yo, saunas are life. Let me tell you something. Saunas are life. Like I didn't know how much I loved a sauna until I went to Finland and sat in one. It was it was so weird because it was we were at this like the Finns have like the summer home thing, right? Like you can rent one, your family might have one, you might live in the city, but in the summer you can just go to the summer house. And it can be as technologically up to snuff or as rustic as you want it to be. And they had the sauna and then right next to a nice lake. So I'd be in the sauna and then I'd be like running in the water, the cold ass water. Let me tell you something. I am a yardie, right? If I'm from Jamaica, I like nice warm water. I don't go in nothing cold, but Lord of His mercies, me did dip into this cold lake after the sauna. It was sauna, lake, sauna, lake, sauna, lake, sauna, lake. Hated the lake part, but it's so good for the body. So good for the body. What does that mean, Raina? Oh, sayonara, Kazuko. All right, Yadi. I mean, all right, my anime bestie. Okay. I think that's it for now, y'all. I am also going to continue watching My Hero Academia season 7. I think I only have like 6 more episodes, and but I'm gonna try and watch it super slow because I need all of season 8 to load up so I can like binge that final season. So I might watch Dr. Stone instead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm slowly enjoying season 7. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go do this sauna thing, and I did go to the. Oh my God, I went to the gym yesterday. You know the bar. I was doing this, and I didn't know how much the bar was. Just the bar by itself. That was like 55 pounds just by itself. I'm like, how are people doing this with weights? Oh my God! But it was good. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Have a lovely weekend. Shakira is out. And blessings to all of y'all, man.